Welcome to this explainer. We're going to jump right into what is absolutely the next frontier of enterprise automation. Traditionally, scaling an organization meant adding more headcount, right? More management layers, and invariably, a whole lot more operational friction. But what if we completely decouple operational scale from human capital? We're going to examine a really fascinating case study in zero human business architecture today through a platform called PPPIntel. We're looking at how AI is moving way beyond simple task assistance and is now literally replacing entire complex corporate departments. So what happens when you replace an entire corporate department with AI? It's a provocative question, isn't it? And to be clear, we're not talking about a shiny new SaaS tool that just helps your compliance officers work, say, 10% faster. No, we're talking about a massive fundamental paradigm shift in organizational design. Imagine a scenario where the department itself, the compliance officers, the funding analysts, the portal administrators, is entirely autonomous. This completely flips how we think about enterprise constraints. It shifts the conversation from a basic software upgrade to a high-level strategic overhaul of how a business operates at its absolute core. Okay, let's dive right into this framework. Number 1, the human bottleneck. 2, the zero human paradigm. 3, the 6-agent ecosystem. And 4, strategic ROI and capital discovery. Section 1, the human bottleneck, friction in the corporate machine. When we look closely at traditional compliance and regulatory departments, we're honestly looking at systems that are inherently flawed. And this forces us to confront a pretty hard operational truth. Human compliance teams are fundamentally slow, expensive, and frankly, prone to manual errors. It's just human nature. Relying on human workflows in a highly regulated environment creates an immediate, massive bottleneck. You've got staff who are constantly overwhelmed by shifting regulations, which inevitably leads to manual errors. And those errors, they lead to constant refilings, unavoidable delays, and ultimately a huge drag on your organizational agility. Let's be real, humans simply cannot read, process, and react to thousands of pages of regulatory updates in real time. It's impossible. The data here paints a very stark picture of this friction. If we contrast a traditional human team with these autonomous agents, the performance gap is just staggering. Take regulatory monitoring, for example. Humans typically have a 1 to 2 day delay in detecting changes. PPPIntel's agents do this in real time. That makes them about 2,880 times faster. Then look at form filing accuracy. Human teams hover around, 92% or so due to manual data entry errors. The autonomous system sits at 99.7%. And in the compliance world, that 7.7% difference, that is literally the difference between a clean audit and massive financial penalties. The autonomous agents completely wipe out the lag and error margins that are just baked right into manual operations. Section 2, the zero human paradigm, a structural shift in enterprise scale. So the crucial point is how we actually define this new architecture. Zero human operations is the deployment of autonomous AI agents to execute end-to-end workflows 24/7 with 99.7% accuracy and absolutely zero manual intervention. Think about what this means for a second. This is where we see enterprise-grade reliability operating at what is essentially a solopreneur scale. You could literally have a single founder running a billion-dollar operation because the entire back office, compliance, and regulatory infrastructure is being handled flawlessly, all without a single human employee clocking in. They don't take sick days, they don't experience burnout, and they just execute relentlessly. Of course, at an executive level, relinquishing that kind of control to AI requires absolute trust in the underlying architecture. We're not talking about a consumer-grade app here. This ecosystem is rigorously audited and custom-built for enterprise deployment. It is SOC 2 Type 2 certified, completely compliant with GDPR and HIPAA frameworks, secured by AES 256 Zero Trust encryption, and it's all backed by a 99.99% uptime SLA. This infrastructure is specifically engineered to prevent any data leaks or compliance breaches, which ensures that those billion-dollar operations can run autonomously without introducing any new systemic risks. And from a pure operations standpoint, the onboarding mechanics are remarkably frictionless. Think about your traditional digital transformation. What does that take? 6 to 12 months, usually? Here, you connect your CRM, ERP, and databases via API. Within about 10 minutes, you configure your workflows, defining rules, funding criteria, all of that. The AI immediately learns your specific business logic, and boom, the agents take over 24/7. Your only job from that point forward is to just monitor the real-time dashboard. It completely removes the usual headaches and friction of deploying enterprise software. Section 3, the 6-agent ecosystem, orchestrated AI harmony. Let's look at how these agents actually interact under the hood, starting with the reader agent and the compliance agent. So imagine a new 50-page regulatory document just comes in. The reader agent ingests it, classifies it, and extracts structured data in 0.3 seconds. That clean, validated data is instantly fed directly to the compliance agent. The compliance agent then cross-references the new global rules, validates your company's compliance against them, and autofiles any mandatory reports to resolve violations before an audit even begins. It's this seamless, instantaneous handoff that honestly would take a human team weeks of back-and-forth meetings to coordinate. Let's move to and see how this builds with the portal agent and the monitor agent. The portal agent acts as your outward-facing administrator. It manages incredibly complex government portals like sam.gov or grants.gov, handling all the logins, syncing credentials, and auto-populating forms without a single human click. Meanwhile, the monitor agent acts as your internal watchdog. It's constantly watching every system and every portal deadline 24/7. It's predicting failures before they happen and flagging any anomalies. So they work perfectly in tandem. One executes externally, while the other ensures internal health. Now, this next part is where it gets incredibly strategic: the funding agent. This agent operates as a dedicated capital discovery engine. It scans over 10,000 grant programs, tax incentives, and government funding opportunities to surface money the business didn't even know it qualified for. To put that into perspective, a human analyst might take 4 to 6 weeks to manually search and apply for these. The funding agent identifies the capital and initiates the auto application pipeline in under 60 seconds. It operates at speeds 50,000 times faster than a human, and it's actively seeking out revenue for you. Tying all of this together is the orchestrator agent. You can really think of this as the ultimate autonomous manager, the central nervous system of the entire operation. It coordinates the other 5 agents, manages dependencies, and instantly resolves conflicts across 17 active workflows. Most importantly, it guarantees end-to-end execution and maintains absolute audit trail integrity. For instance, if the monitor agent flags an issue, the orchestrator intelligently routes it straight to the compliance agent for a fix and logs the entire interaction for the auditors. No humans needed. To validate the speed and impact of this ecosystem, we can look at this social proof from Marcus Rivera, VP of Operations at Atlas Construction Group. He notes that they connected their systems in under 10 minutes. And by the end of week 1, the orchestration agent had autonomously resolved 47 compliance flags and submitted 12 funding applications. This isn't just theoretical MBA-level strategy. This is immediate, massive operational impact happening autonomously within days of integration. Section 4, Strategic ROI and Capital Discovery, Transforming Cost Centers to Profit Centers. And this brilliantly illustrates the financial gravity of the zero-human paradigm. On the one hand, a standard 5-person human compliance team costs roughly $552,500 annually when you factor in salaries, benefits, overhead, and all those software tools. On the other hand, the autonomous ecosystem operates at a flat rate of $90,000 a year. That is a staggering 84% cost reduction. But actually, scratch that. It's not just about cutting costs. It's about completely eliminating the financial burden of human error and the management overhead that comes with running a department of that size. But the true strategic insight here is how this architecture flips a traditional cost center straight into a profit center. Because the funding agent is constantly scanning, it generates active revenue. The system autonomously identified and matched businesses with a $1.8 million NSF SBIR grant, a $420,000 IRS R&D tax credit, and a $2.1 million DoD cybersecurity grant. This is capital that would have been completely missed by an overwhelmed human team. The AI doesn't just save you money, it is actively injecting non-dilutive capital directly into the enterprise balance sheet. This quote from Sarah Chen, Chief Compliance Officer at MedCore Health Systems, perfectly encapsulates this reality. They completely replaced a 12-person team. Their 6-week audit prep dropped to absolute zero, and the AI found them $2.3 million in grants they didn't even know existed. As she puts it, this isn't just software. It is an entirely new way of operating a business. It's a structural evolution that redefines what a company is truly capable of achieving with limited human resources. Which leaves us with this final, vital question to ponder. In a zero-human future, how will your business scale? Think about it. If your competitors are entirely eliminating operational friction, automating their compliance with a 99.7% accuracy, and utilizing AI to autonomously discover millions in funding while they sleep, well, the traditional human-heavy corporate structure is rapidly becoming a massive liability. It really challenges us to rethink our own organizational bottlenecks and deeply consider what enterprise scale looks like when human limitations are no longer part of the equation.